What's up, you guys? Ras Ati out here in Singapore. Thank you so much for joining me on the Night Owl podcast. You know what? I gotta say, I really, really am having so much fun with this group that I'm doing, Dear Ras Ati, having the girls come in and talk to me about their issues, as well as teaching them literal life skills that they can actually put into practice right away after I teach them. So it's been a lot of questions for sure, and I've really enjoyed it. And even though the concept is really simple, it's different, right? It's different than reading the book. Suddenly you actually have some exercises where you can apply it, or you can start noticing in your life what people need and what people don't. So it's been really a great example of how simple teachings, when you put into application of your life itself, can actually make a difference. And I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing is functional, it's practical, it's easy to adapt. Not Okay, maybe not easy, simple, but not easy, right? So I want to make sure that whatever it is that I'm teaching anyone, that doesn't mean if you're in the group or out of the group or one-on-one counseling with me or just a friend who's asking in passing, right? I want to make sure that whatever I tell you is practical. You can actually try it in your own life without too much risk, obviously, but little things that will help you feel a little bit more loved and appreciated and start to live your life a little bit rather than just exist according to everybody else's expectations. Anyway, with that being said, I have been noticing a trend lately, and I want to talk about the fact that reality is a limitation, actually. You are limited by what you've seen and what you've experienced before. Now, whether that's in real life because you watched your parents, you watched your siblings, you watched your aunts and uncles, grandparents, whatever, or if you've actually seen it in TV. Now, obviously, we all think that whatever happens on TV is not even possible in real life. That's not how things work. But it would be kind of cool, and they do give us ideas on things we might want to adapt into our own lives. The way we dress, the way we shop, the way we, define success, stuff like that. But a lot of times, we are actually limited by even those ideas of reality, those constructs, because we never get a chance to question for ourselves what would really fit us, what would really be great for us. Now, I've been watching How to Get Away with Murder lately, and I've been watching the relationship of Connor and his boyfriend Oliver. And it's been really interesting because both of them really do love each other. One changed his behavior for the other, not because the other asked him to, but because he realized if he wants to keep this man, he's going to have to change his ways. He can't be the playboy that he's always been, and he can't run around and find new people whenever he gets bored. He kind of has to work through some things. He needs to give and take. He needs to sacrifice a little bit. He needs to really show that he's committed. And that's beautiful. On the other hand, Oliver, you're watching him actually evolve into somebody who is a little bit more outspoken than he used to be. He's a little more adventurous because his boyfriend is quite adventurous as well. And he wants more of that excitement. He wants a little bit more of that variety. Now, within the construct of the 6 human needs that Tony Robbins talks about, and it's mostly because I'm actually teaching that in my course, the group at the moment, I wanted to talk about the fact that Oliver has this idea that good things come to those who fight for them, which means if there's an argument or there's a disagreement of some sort, there needs to be some kind of yelling and screaming and some kind of give and take and some kind of compromise and somebody ends up crying. There needs to be that scene. Otherwise, he doesn't believe that it's real. Now, there was once a situation in their relationship where Connor found out that Oliver did something behind his back. But what Connor said really goes to the heart of what is a human need and what will you do in order to meet your human needs. A lot of people don't realize that you will violate or throw out the window all of your values if you can get some of your needs met. If you're that desperate, if you're really missing something, you will do something completely out of character in order to get your needs met. This is the reason for infidelity in the first place. People can tell each other that they need this or they don't like that, and if the other person isn't listening, this person will step out. Not because they want to step out, because they're not getting their needs met. They don't feel like they're important in this relationship. And if they happen to have a nice conversation with anybody outside, suddenly they'll realize that, you know what, I'm treated better out here than I am in there, so I'm just going to go out here instead. So back to Connor and Oliver. Oliver had actually deleted his Stanford acceptance letter and redirected all of the calls because Oliver's a really great hacker, right? But he did it for all the wrong reasons. He was trying to control Connor's behavior and his decision to leave the area that they were living in. Now, Connor, instead of freaking out and yelling at him and telling him, I'm going to leave and I can't believe you did this, you violated my trust, blah, 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 Connor was mature enough to realize, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I did not take you seriously when you said you did not want to leave here. I thought it was something that you would just get over in time, but obviously it's not something you get over in time if you went to great lengths to hack Stanford, delete my acceptance letter, and reroute all of the calls so that I never find out. So for him to be that mature and notice that, yes, Oliver did something out of character. And yes, he did it to preserve the relationship and keep it right where it is, because even though he told Connor he didn't want to move, Connor did not take it seriously. Now, Connor had other ideas and other reasons for why he did what he did, and he hasn't still shared those reasons with Oliver yet. But the fact that those words came out of Connor's mouth saying, I forgive you and I'm sorry because I didn't take you seriously and now you've done something out of character, I forgive you, got Oliver mad all of a sudden. Now he doesn't trust it. Like, no, but there's supposed to be a fight, and I'm supposed to get punished, and you're supposed to yell at me, and you're supposed to be mad at me, and you're not mad at all, and you're the one apologizing when I'm supposed to be apologizing. What the hell is going on? He's totally off kilter. He has no idea what's going on because, in his mind, reality looks like this. When someone messes up, the other person whose trust was violated is meant to yell, scream, rant, and rave, right? And then they come to a place where the person who did the violating actually apologizes and grovels for a little while and shows remorse. And then the person who was violated accepts the apology, forgives him, and then they move on. So there's a whole like charade they need to play out, which Connor cut in half because he immediately understood, oh my gosh, I pushed you to this and I didn't take you seriously. So because the wind was kind of knocked out of Oliver's sails, Oliver's over here thinking, no, this is not how this works, and I don't trust you now because that was too easy. How come I did something really, really, really bad? You found out about it, not from me because somebody else told you, and you're apologizing. That's not normal. I don't trust you. But you know what? This is not the first time I've seen this. I've seen it in my life. I've seen it in relationships I have, like in this year, 2020. Something comes easy to somebody else because I know what it's like to suffer. I know what it's like not to have. And I don't want to push anyone through like a game to kind of earn my trust or to earn my love. I'm one of those teachers that if you were a student in my class, you start off with an A. And then all you got to do is fight to keep it. That's it. You don't have to earn your way to the top. You don't have to fight your way from 0 points to 100. You have the 100. What will you do to keep it? And that's the way I operate. And it's very, very backwards and upside down. It's not the way everybody else does stuff because I've learned that this works better. When you raise the expectation, when you give someone the expectation that they can win and you see the possibility in them and they are so supported and loved and you want to see them win, like genuine support, usually people will live up to the expectation. Unless, of course, their past history kind of dictates that you shouldn't trust these things, that there's always a carrot dangling somewhere, there's a string attached, and the carpet will be pulled out from under you at some point, and then the next shoe will drop. I've seen that happen before, and the honest truth is, I'm a victim of those circumstances, which is why I've chosen to be the exact opposite of what everything in my reality has taught me. I need people to really pay attention to each other. The relationship you have with this person, whoever you're in a relationship with, and that includes your mom and you relationship, your brother and you relationship, your child and you relationship, your boyfriend, husband, you, whatever the case may be. Each of those has its own ecosystem. Like take, for example, right now, me and my daughter, we have our own ecosystem. We have our own way of doing things. We don't have a set timetable. We kind of go with the flow. We're very Pisces in this house, even though she's a Gemini. Why? Because I'm kind of the ruling planet at the moment, right? But we do it that way because we've tried and failed at planning, because every time I plan, God laughs at me and I mess up the plans and I never get anywhere on time. So we kind of go with the flow. There is a lot of creative energy in this house and we make sure that we do whatever we can. But rather than punish each other for mistakes we've made, I'd rather sit down and explain to her why I need it this way, and she can explain to me why she didn't see it that way, and then we come to a consensus so it doesn't happen again. Now, yeah, of course, she's still growing up and I still have some of those conversations where it's the same shit over and over again. I'm trying to make her a little bit more responsible for her things, her toys, and a little bit more clean, as in like she organizes and keeps her things once she's done. She has a little bit of a follow-through problem when she starts one thing and she kind of gets scatterbrained and starts something else and forgets that she had the first thing started in the first place, hasn't finished the task. The point is, I don't feel like punishing her or putting her through this whole, oh my gosh, I need to be mad at you, then you need to grovel, and then you need to beg for forgiveness, and then I need to make this big scene about, oh my gosh, I've forgiven you, don't ever do it again. Nope, it's not like that for me. So whatever I may have learned in my life and whatever she may have seen on TV, which is different from what I'm teaching her at home, she realizes that a relationship is what you make of it. My relationship with her is very different from her relationship with her teachers, her relationship with her friends, her relationship with her dad, whenever he decides to call. But this is the thing. When it's different from what we expect, we suddenly immediately distrust it. Nope, that's not normal. I don't trust you. What do you want? For Oliver to get so upset at how quickly Connor forgave him and suddenly realize the error of his ways because it forced Oliver to do something out of character really, really rocked Oliver to the core because he wasn't ready for it. He didn't expect it. But this is why I really understand that the human needs, the hierarchy of needs, really dictates how you live your life, what you will do in order to live a happy, what makes you happy in the first place, and then what you will do to make sure that you're happy. If being important and significant is really important to you, any situation where you feel like you're not important, you're going to act out. You're going to throw a temper tantrum of some sort to get that attention back to you. And it's the bad behavior that gets rewarded faster because what happens? We panic, we're scared you're going to do something completely crazy, and we don't want you to hurt yourself. So yes, absolutely, you have my attention, you have my sympathy, you have my support because I'm promising that I'll be there for you. And you know what? Because it's scary, you've shaken things up a little bit, and this is out of character for us, you got your variety as well. So guess what? It becomes addictive to act out because you can guarantee that you will suddenly have all that attention. So this illusion of reality, this limitation that is reality, is really difficult for some people to understand. Because what you've dreamt up in your mind about what the process is supposed to be, and what the other person has in mind about the process, we don't ever talk about to make sure that I understand you and you understand me. We talk about surface stuff a lot. And I really, really hope, it is my genuine prayer to you guys and a real big concern for me, that at some point we learn how to talk about these things, because guess what? If these were the things we talked about, the divorce rate would disappear. It would definitely reduce, if not completely disappear. Why would we search for love outside of the relationship if we can talk about the things that really upset us, what we expect, and you talk about what you expect? Neither one of us gets offended by what you expect, right? And we can find a middle ground. Why would you ever step out? Because let's think about this. In the initial honeymoon phase, you have all of your needs met. Do you even consider that there are other people outside of the two of you? No, that's why it's called the honeymoon phase. It's like you're in your own little bubble, no one else exists. But the minute y'all have disagreements and arguments or conflict of interest or even like opposing thoughts, suddenly that person doesn't love you anymore. Suddenly you don't have your needs being met, but you don't talk about how you can get your needs met either. Why? Because we're not self-aware, because we don't know these things exist until we've hit rock bottom, we've lost the love of our lives, and we're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. At that point, it's too late, usually. In some cases, we can salvage what we have or go back and figure it out again. But I really, really wish that this is something we could learn ahead of time so we could prevent instead of cure after the fact. I hope this makes sense, you guys. If you have any questions, concerns, please drop them in the comments below. You know what to do. If you need me, DM me. Let's talk. But in the meantime, I'm serious, you guys. We need some serious conversations going on. We don't need the expectations to line up, but we need to understand what's expected of us by the other person. And that in and of itself, oh my God, will cure so many problems. You hear me? I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.